Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and like promised, today's Thursday, and it's time for another Deskbot profile. Now, today's is going to be more of an OTK because we can more or less consistently go for game this time because we're not limited to cards that were just commons. So let's rush through this deck list for you guys real quick and get you in and out of here. And anybody who wants to know what the cards do, we'll do that afterwards. So real quick, the main deck is actually going to be the same ratio. We are still running the single one. We are going to run 3 copies of 2, 3 of 3. We are going to run 3 copies of 4, 3 copies of Deskbot 5, 3 copies Deskbot 6, single copy 7 and 8, double copies of 9. We're still going to run 3 copies of Battle Fader, and we're still going to run our 1 Genix Ally Birdman. Again, this is just my favorite lineup. You guys let me know what you guys would change. But for now, that is the way I run this deck. Again, the field spell is still going to be 2 copies. We are going to run the copy of Foolish Burial. We do have access to our Harpy's Feather Duster this time around. Still going to run the Instant Fusion. Still going to run 2 copies Limiter. Really weird flex. This is one of the old Hobby Lego 6 parallel rare ones, and I just kind of enjoy carrying it around. We are going to still run 3 copies Machine Duplication. We're going to foil out that Monster Reborn. And then, of course, because of the Feb 7 ban list, we get a full complement, a full flight, a full play set of the spell Raigeki, which is really going to help us in going for game on turn 1. Single Terraforming, and this time we're going to include an Upstart Goblin. I thought about adding Pot of Extravagance, but unfortunately I enjoy using the extra deck just a little too much, even in this version of it, in order to justify doing that. So there's that. Let's check out that extra deck. Now, again, of course, since I'm allowed to use cards of any rarity again, I do have Nova and Infinity in here. So we are also going to have Barbaroid, the Ultimate Battle Machine, because he's one of my favorite battle things. If for some reason you didn't have the Raigeki in your hand, he could easily 2-piece 2 monsters right off the field for you and help you do that. Invoked Makaba should the Nova get busted. Panzer Dragon just to help you get there. And Thousand Eyes Restrict for its controls, just like we did in the last build. So that's why these guys are still in here. And they're going to be the 2 instant fusion targets. You do need Nova and Infinity. Again, we're running a lot of machines. We got number 5 right in the deck. We got the ability to special summon another 5 out of our extra deck. We're in good shape. Single copies each. This isn't exactly a main point because it wasn't supposed to be a control build. And yeah, so there's that. And then as far as our links, again, we get to be as fancy as we want. So we went ahead, we pulled out Apollosa, we pulled out Boral Sword. Sorry, no, I thought I had one sticking. We have the IP Masquerena back, Full Flight. We got Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorn all pitching in today. We do have a slightly rarer version of Link Karibo. We do have the Relinquished Animo with us this time, and of course, one of my favorites, Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. So, again, most of the main deck felt budget right up until I got to the extra deck. 40-card main deck again, and again, a bit more aggressive. We'll show you with the test hands tomorrow. This one is the one that I would actually be taking to my locals. The other one, it's just a little bricky, but again, it's cards enter the common domain. Like if we ever get a common Raigeki, that deck just gets better. And again, like I know that we got Dark Hole, but like it's just not the same, guys. You understand. So if you guys were just here for the deck list, again, thanks for stopping by. Maybe check out the common charity one. Try to check back in tomorrow and see the test hands for this. But most importantly, I want you guys to go out there and try to have yourselves a great day, okay? And if you are interested in supporting the channel, it's very cheap and very easy to do. All you have to do is subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have, just keep watching. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do, guys. So go out there, have a great day. We'll see you guys next time. Everybody else, let's go through the laundry list of effects again here one more time, right? So Deskbot 1 is one of our 2 tuners in the deck. Gets 500 attack and defense for every machine type I currently control, and if 2 or more are special summoned at the same time, this one can special summon back from the graveyard except during damage step. Then I can special summon it back, and it's cool. So it automatically starts off as 1,000. Again, you're never going to machine dupe him, not just because of ratio, but just because of like his own effect prevents it. My favorite target for that, however, is the number 2. When this is special summoned, you get to add a Deskbot card from your deck, and of course this can include the field spell if you so choose. All machine type monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense except this card. So he gives the buffer to everybody else. And again, when you machine dupe, they're all going to give each other 1,000. And everybody that's not a number 2 is going to get 1,500. And again, you count in with field spell, you're talking about a 2k power bonus off of just that play. My favorite starter for that is going to be Deskbot number 3. When this is normal summon, you can special summon a Deskbot monster from your deck that is a different name. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can target 1 Deskbot you currently control. Give it 500 in attack and defense for every Deskbot that you currently control until the end of this turn. And of course, this one is saying card, not monster. So the field spell can give you an additional bonus. It makes it like a pseudo number 1. So again, that's pretty cool. Number 4. And this is one of those ones where it's like, okay, to like, if you have to summon it and pass, you can. When this card battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, quick effect, either player's turn, you can send a Deskbot with a different name from your deck to the discard pile and give this character 500 points of attack per star point on the card. So again, we have 1 through 9. If you do a 1, it gets 500. If you do the 9, it gets 4,500. And of course, your opponent doesn't take any battle damage during this turn that you activate this effect. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon 2 Deskbot monsters with different levels from the hand and or graveyard in defense position. And again, since this would be considered like a damage step type thing, Deskbot 1 cannot jump back at this time. However, you can just select Deskbot 1 as one of the 2 targets. So that'd be perfect and fine there as well. To save a little bit of time, all of our Deskbot pendulum monsters have the same scale effect, and that is you cannot pendulum summon monsters except Deskbots. This effect cannot be negated. And again, when you have scales that are literally 10s and 1s, allowing you to swing the scale for a 2 through 9 summon, you kind of have to put a harsh, effect to it. Now, when 5 is normal or special summoned, it's going to activate like MST. You can target a spell trap on the field, destroy it. It'll gain 500 attack for every Deskbot that's face up on your extra deck, so it cares about the pendulums. And if this is in your pendulum zone and destroyed, target a Deskbot monster in the graveyard and special summon it back. This effect is once per turn. Now 6 is going to be similar. 6 is going to get the first effect on normal or special, but that effect will be to change battle position of a card. The second effect is going to be the same. It gains power based on cards face up on the extra deck. And the third effect is when it's in the pendulum scale and destroyed, target a Deskbot card in the graveyard and add that back to your hand. So again, similar, same, but just as good. 7 and 8, we only use 1 each. 7 is a little more useful, I think, most of the time. Gains 500 attack for every Deskbot card in the graveyard. Again, it's not saying monster, so you can count the field spell. And 8's going to tell you the same thing. 7, however, says... Monsters your opponent control cannot target face-up Deskbot monsters for attacks except this one. 8's going to say the same thing except for card effects. Number 7 can inflict piercing, and number 8 can attack monsters twice each battle phase. So again, if you need to clear the field, you want to go for 8. If you're looking to do some real damage, you want to go for 7. And then there's number 9 with a whole paragraph, sort of the boss monster of the deck, and very useful. I tend to use them just for Deskbot number 4's effect, and then I will special summon it back after the fact once it's done and killed a card. So once per turn during main phase 1, you can make this card gain attack equal to the combined attack of all Deskbot monsters you currently control, except 09, until the end of the opponent's turn. Only this card can attack this turn that this effect is activated. If this card battles your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated until the end of the damage step. If this card will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy one Deskbot card you control instead. So there is a way to go into a super play. It's generally on like a rebound where you end up with a huge field. You can have 4 resurrect this card by pitching it from the pitch it from the deck, gain the power bonus, board him during the damage step, board somebody else, go to your own turn, play, big board, go into limiter removal, get everybody to power up, use number 3's effect, power up somebody even further, have 9 take all that power at once, and then super punch. It's so convoluted though. If it doesn't naturally show up in the test hands tomorrow, I'm not going to bother with it. Just know that it exists. And it's usually one of those like rebound moves, like you get put into a bad position and it's the way that you recover. So there's that. Again, we're still using battle faders for the same reason. When the opponent declares direct attack, we can go ahead, summon this from our hand if we do end the battle phase. And then when this card leaves the field after that, it gets banished instead. And then you got Get Exile like Birdman. And again, I didn't think this last time, but let me check through the extra deck. I don't think I'm running any wins this time, and of course I'm wrong again. So there is a way that we can get the power bonus, and that's going to be with Apollosa. So we can return 1 face-up monster we control to the hand, special summon this from the hand. This card gains 500 attack if it was a wind monster that we returned. If this card is special summon this way, remove it from play when it is removed from the field. Gain 500 attack if it was a wind monster that was returned. So generally, you're going to do something silly like you can out a kaiju this way, which would also be terrible because you could just link that off. But you could, or you could recycle your Apollosa if you really wanted this guy to be 1900. Again, it's just a matter of trying to recycle certain cards and then be able to play through. Going into our field spell, you got the Deskbot base. All Deskbot monsters gain 500 attack and defense, so you want to play this after you've done your machine dupe. You can reveal any number of Deskbot cards in your hand, shuffle them into the deck, then draw the same number. So you get to reload your hand a lot. And I'm not going to bother with the last effect because it's way too involved to get into. This is not a once per turn effect, so if you play over your Deskbot base, you can get more than 1 hand shuffle in a turn. And since it is Deskbot cards get sent back, you can also send back the additional copy of Deskbot base. So that is also very fun. Foolish Burial helps you set up Deskbot 1. Feather Duster blasts the back row. Instant Fusion sets you up for other plays by pulling out your fusion monsters. Limiter removals when you want to go for game. Machine dupes in order to get that far. Monster Reborn as a good generic extender. Triple Geki to get those pesky opponent monsters out of the way so you can go for those direct attacks. Terraforming to get that to that field spell a little faster. And Upstart Goblin, just an extra draw card. Really just trying to help get the strategy all put together. So that's the 40 card main. Let's talk about that extra one last time. So Barbaroid, again, I think you guys are familiar with how I use Nova. If Nova gets destroyed before I go to Infinity, I get a fusion machine type. So either I go to Makaba, and Makaba will then let me discard a card once per turn during either player's turn. Discard a card that matches typing, in this case either a monster or a spell with the way my deck is set up, to negate either a monster or spell effect, and then banish the card. Or Barbaroid being able to just attack multiple times in a battle phase, only able to ever attack monsters. Every monster he kills is 1,000 points off the opponent. And in a deck where we have access to limiter removal, this thing could be 8,000 points attacking 2 monsters, and that could be game on its own before we factor in the 1,000 points of damage for the effect. So again, we have a couple different ways that we can go. We have a beatdown route, we have the alternate control route, and then you have the primary control route. One of the things that's going to help you get there is Panzer Dragon, instant fusion target. He's here for 5-star machine, nothing else this time. And Thousand Eyes Restrict in case we want to use that instant fusion to just go ahead and kind of clean up the field a little bit. And then link it off after the fact. So this way we don't actually lose presence. We can just continue through the play. And this will help us just out monsters. You do have the Infinity and the Nova. Again, you're going to overlay two level 5 machines for the Nova, and then you're going to try to go into the Infinity. Once you're at Infinity, Nova plus any materials it still had become this card's materials. This card gains 200 attack for each material. Okay. Once per turn, you can target a face-up attack position monster card on the field and attach it to this card as material. And also once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can detach a material from this card, negate the activation, and if you did, destroy the card. So again, if you had multiple Cyber Dragons, you can negate multiple things per turn as long as you have the materials to do it. Again, we can off-board things this way as well by targeting the face-up attack position monsters. Again, links are always going to have to be face-up in attack position. And I'll tell you what, I will sign a card if somebody tells me before we get to Deckmaster Monday this next week. If somebody can tell me the one way a link monster can be face down, I will, the first person that puts that in the comments, I'll sign a card and send it to you. And again, I'll get a hold of you in the messages, in the comment section, and then we'll trade emails, and then we'll do all that off of the website, because obviously you guys don't want your addresses just accessible to anybody. So if you could tell me that, and then I'll send you guys, I'll send somebody a signed card. So that'll be fun. Going into the links, we do have Apollosa, the Bow of the Goddess. 2+ monsters, different names, except tokens. This one gets a little weird sometimes because of the machine dupe strategy. Still doable. You can only control one of these at a time. The original attack of this is 800 times materials used. Once per chain, when an opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, make this card lose exactly 800. And if do, negate activation. Boral Sword is here to just punch over things, and again, a little more generic, so it's good for us. Being Link 4, 3+ effects. Cannot be destroyed by battle. Once per turn, quick effect, target an attack position monster, change it to defense. Also, this card can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. The opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. Once per turn, when this card declares an attack on a face-up monster, you can activate this effect. Till the end of the turn, this card gains attack equal to half that monster's current value, and if it does, that monster loses half of its value. So again, huge monster, lets us punch over things, and again, kind of wish I had an access code talker. Wish we had pulled that during the El Dorado packs, but it is what it is, and this is still a roughly budget version of that card, so no worries. We do have the IP Masquerena, 2 non-links. During the opponent's main phase, we can quick effect immediately after this resolves. Link summon a link monster using materials I control, including this card. This can allow us to go into an Underworld Goddess, or it can allow us to go into any one of our nightmares for a bit of disruption. And a link monster that uses this card as material cannot be destroyed by opponent card effects, so we do get that little bit of blanket protection in there. The nightmares all get an effect on their link summon. When you pitch a card, they all need monsters with different names. Cerberus and Phoenix are going to either destroy a special summon monster, destroy one spell trap, or in the case of Unicorn, send one card from the field back into the deck. And again, this makes them just amazingly disruptive. And again, if you do this off IP Masquerena, it's fairly good, especially with the Unicorn play. You do have the Link Karibo. It is a level 1 monster. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you contribute this card, change that monster's attack to 0 until the end of the round. And then, if this card in your graveyard, or is in your graveyard, you may, as a quick effect, tribute a level 1 monster to special summon this card. You may only use this effect once per turn. Very good card. Very good card. And better in some other decks, but great tech here nonetheless. We do have the Relinquished Anima. 1 level 1 monster, accept a token. Now, this is a bit of a convoluted play that we could do with Deskbot 1 anyway. We can do this with the Battle Faders, or we can do this with our our Thousand Eyes Restrict. And what it's going to do is, again, because the instant fusion is a fusion summon, we get to pick if we want it in our main zones or in our extra zone. And so we can vacuum something out of our opponent's extra zone if we haven't used ours. And we can also place this up into that extra zone to then vacuum something else out of the back row, because this one can only target a monster that it's actually pointing to equip it to itself. It will gain attack equal to the equipped monsters. And again, it's a great way to out another monster card from our opponent's side of the field. And then you have your Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, 4+ effect monsters. You may also use one monster the opponent controls as material to link summon this card. If this card is link summoned, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. This link summon card is unaffected by opponent's activated effects unless they target it specifically. And once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that special summons a monster from the graveyard, monster or monsters, you may negate that. So again, a lot of good play from that. I am way more confident in this one to be less bricky. This one is obviously built more for going second and going for the game. And again, since we're not limited to just what was common, I do think that we get a much better view of what the Deskbots could do for you. And again, you could have them all common so that you could play the Deskbots themselves in both formats. If you're unlike me and you don't make a separate collection for every play style, which would be way more budget, I'm going to be honest. So again, thanks for stopping by. Somebody's got to tell me what the one card is that will allow me to play a Link monster face down in order to win a signed card. And then the rest of you guys just have a great day. Come back tomorrow, check out a test hand or two. And then have a great day tomorrow too, okay? All right. I'll see you then. Later.